All right, welcome back to our May edition of Sports Highlights. Greg Picaveras, glad you're with us. For more, log on to nnpstv.com. Our program since February of 1992, and each year we showcase some of the Newport News School students on our program as well. So we're going to talk to Joshua Stuck. He is a junior. Good to see you.
Good to see you too, Greg.
Joshua, tell us about your background and how did you get involved in TV?
My background is pretty simple. I have always had a knack for being in front of the camera or on stage. I love doing theater and stuff like that. One of the other things I like to do is mix sound and audio. I do a little bit of music creation or DJing in my spare time. So it seemed pretty obvious, and also my sister came through this program before me, told me about all the benefits of it. So it was an easy choice. It seemed like a good opportunity. It gives free college credit too, so extra bonus there. And it's pretty much rolled from there. It's been fun.
Absolutely. And of course, I guess a lot of times working on your own, doing editing on your own has probably helped you with this job.
Definitely. Being able to have a little bit of prior experience always helps in any situation that you're going into, and just having that small amount of knowledge beforehand has brought me pretty far so far.
Yeah, of course, our program airs on Mondays at 7, 2, and 7, weekends at 9 a.m. right here on Cox Cable 47, 517, nnpstv.com. And I say that is because the kids have their own telecom network on YouTube. Talk about that.
On YouTube, we have our NNPS Telecom page. On there, we've got all the basketball games, football games, and other things that we live stream. Plus, we also have a lot of our students' productions, which we will record in class or on our own free time. And if we create them and we've done all the editing, if our teachers, Mr. Price and Mr. Daniels, they review them and they want to post them on YouTube, then we end up posting them, and that's where they stay.
Well, let me ask you, tell us about what you do during a football game. A lot of times people see the on-camera talent, but let's talk about the people behind the scenes in the truck.
Oh, definitely. I personally work the audio board. I'm out there trying to make everyone sound decent. You would definitely be experienced in that, seeing as you're one of the announcers for the football games. It's always interesting because we've got Mr. Barlow in the truck, always yelling, making it a pain.
He said that, folks.
Hey, don't get me fired here.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
But other than that, I usually don't get yelled at by Mr. Barlow. I'm decently good at my job. The camera operators, they're always out there behind the camera, making sure they catch the action in the heat of the moment. We've got another Josh on the crew, and he's usually running the 3-play, which is basically our automatic replay system. We've got Derek, who's usually on the switcher board, him or Pedro, and everyone on there is such a skilled person. There's honestly a lot of work that people see on screen, but there's so much more behind the scenes that they don't see. And honestly, I prefer being behind the screen sometimes because it's almost better to be an unsung hero in that sense.
Right, the creative talent in the truck is excellent. Of course, Ray Price is the producer. You got Bill Barlow, the director. You got Greg Lesko, the engineer, and of course Carl Daniels. And you mix it with students as well.
Yes, sir.
So it's a good mix.
Oh, it's always a good mix. It almost feels like a perfect balance between the two. You've got the inexperienced students who are gaining their experience in the field as we go, and then we've got experts out there, and they're just guiding us along the way. They're giving us tips and pointers as we're going through, and we're working our way up to being ready for crews like CBS, Fox, and all sorts of other sports networks, maybe even ESPN and other groups like that.
And it gives you a lot of good experience too, because not only are you doing sports, but you're involved with graduations, you're involved with Christopher Newport's graduation, you're involved with a lot of projects away from sports. Talk about
definitely. One of the biggest things we do is definitely our school board meetings that we have every month. We live stream those straight from the studio right across the hall from us, and we just had one this Tuesday. So it was certainly an interesting experience doing that for the first time. I actually hadn't even done the training for this class. My sister got a call from the bosses, Mr. Price and Mr. Daniels, saying, "Hey, we need someone. Do you know anyone or are you available?" And she was like, "I'm not available, but my brother is." So they threw me to the wolves right off the bat.
Well, there you go.
I guess I just have to thank my sister for that. Ellie, if you're seeing this, thank you.
All right, there you go. We're talking to Joshua Stuck. He is a junior working in the telecom program here. And of course, you have to go from school to get here. So sometimes
definitely.
some days are tougher than others, right?
Yeah. Some days will be tougher than others. I personally ride my bike to school, to and from, usually. Sure, I could use my mom as transportation, seeing as she's a teacher at Denby, which is the high school I go to. But I prefer just to get the bike in for exercise, though if it suddenly decides to rain or if it's really cold, it'll be a bit more of a rough day for me. And then there's just waiting outside, hoping that the bus gets there on time, hoping that the bus is running well. There's any number of things that could be different each day, but just roll with the punches.
We mentioned the extracurricular activities. Talk about your experience with the Wooten clan as far as the music.
Recently, Mr. Joseph Wooten from the group of the Wooten brothers, he visited Denby, and he gave a little presentation to the students, just basically motivating them, teaching them how to be successful, reminding everyone that they need to focus on the things that don't require talent, like being able to have social conversations, being nice to one another, arriving on time, the good stuff like that. And then he was kind enough to let me interview him, so I'm currently working on that. I've taken all the footage, and I'm hoping to turn it into a full-length production that will hopefully air on NNPS TV soon. Best wishes to him and his brothers. He's getting ready to tour with Steve Miller Band and Marty Stewart. Last I heard, his brothers were all doing well, and can't wait to hear more from them.
Very nice, because music is so part of audio too. One thing I really admired what you've done this year is like when we project, it's different from, let's say, a regular touchdown or basketball, but there are points of the game that you have to project louder than others, and you're able to counter that and balance the audio.
Oh, definitely. Whenever y'all are getting excited, whenever there's a high moment where you're projecting a bit more, I'm always making sure I can be able to lower you or raise you at any moment to add the effects that are necessary, while also making sure I have plenty of natural sound from the crowd or from the game itself that I can pick up and put in over top of your voices or underneath so that people get that feeling that they're right in the crowd and watching the game right there.
Right. Of course, so when you watch a movie, it's all about score and music.
Oh, definitely. If you have a good soundtrack, that's what makes or breaks the movie, in my point. Because if you don't have the good sound to go with it, then it's not really as entertaining. Because when you look at it, everything stemmed from soundtrack originally. With the silent black and white films, there was always a pianist or some sort of band that was there to provide music or background sound for that little clip.
Two different types of movies, but Star Wars is all about the score.
Oh, definitely.
And then Halloween, the movie, the soundtrack can scare you without even, but if you put it in mute, like you said, it's totally a different movie.
If you watch the Halloween movie and you don't have that soundtrack, it's not nearly as scary.
Right.
You don't realize how thematic certain elements can be in a movie until you take them out. Sometimes, yes, you'll have silent pauses where there's a lot of dialogue going on between actors or something like that. However, in a scene of action, you need that music to keep the pulse flowing. A good recent example of that in cinema has been, in my opinion, Deadpool 2, if you've seen that movie. They used a lot of rapid sound during all the fight scenes where he's going a bit crazier, just to try and convey that feeling of excitement and action with just enough comedy to make it funny.
Yeah, it's like doing sound. When you don't have any sound, it's dry. When you had sound, it adds a little like olive oil or dressing to it as well.
Exactly.
We're talking to Joshua Stuck. He's a junior at Denby High School. He'll be back next year. He is we call him the audio king. Well, let's talk about, how did your sister help you?
My sister helped me out by getting me the initial connections here. Without her, I actually wouldn't have ever discovered the program. It's definitely a great program, but she has gotten me the connections that I needed. She's given me a little background experience as well, because as I've said before, I had a little bit of audio experience coming into this. She gave me experience in the cameras and the editing that I needed beforehand to just make me able to excel in this class and in this course.
This is our May edition of Sports Highlights. Glad you're with us. At Craig Bick on Twitter, of course, and a lot of kids use social media too.
Oh, definitely, definitely.
And we mentioned YouTube, how important that is for video.
Certainly.
Well, Boy Scouts are always prepared. That's the motto, be prepared. I got to a tenderfoot. I know you got to an Eagle Scout.
I did not know you were a Boy
Yes, I
Scout.
was a long time ago. Went to Chickahominy and all that stuff. Troop 48, I believe it was. Talk about your troop.
My troop, I'm a part of BSA Troop 6, though I believe it's Scout BSA now. I'm not sure with all the current news that's going on with Scouts. I'm still going to call it BSA because that's how I was born and raised. I got my Eagle Scout this October, October 2018, apologies. And from there, I was able to be the senior patrol leader for my troop. For those of you all out there who don't know what that is, that would be the boy leader of the troop. Obviously, you'll have the adult leadership, but then Boy Scouts has always been run by the boys more than the adults. Sure, the adults will do the hard paperwork and they'll do a lot of the planning. However, the meetings themselves and the campouts themselves are all run by the boys. It's the boys' responsibility to make sure that they get to certain places on times. They need to make sure that they're doing everything they can. They make sure they take care of their equipment. So to be able to be the senior patrol leader for my troop after being in it for so many years, it was definitely a good experience to just work with my troop and have a deeper connection.
How about the camping trips away from home in the tent?
I personally have always loved camping. The only downside for me has been allergies. I'm allergic to grass, dust, mold, and dogs. So, needless to say, that was always a factor when I went camping. However, the excitement and the experiences that I had when I was camping were always so much fun that I just blocked out my allergies mentally. I just kept going because you don't get an experience like that anywhere else, especially with some of the special events we do. One recent event that we've been doing a lot has been the Klondike Derby, which is a small race full of scout skills, and the troops from all around the area come and they just compete to see who's most well-versed in their scout skills, and it's another demonstration of camaraderie because we're all out there trying our best, demonstrating what we know, and it's just fun in the long run.
Well, you mentioned dust and dogs, but what about ticks and snakes and other creatures like that, especially when you're in a tent?
Yeah, definitely.
That's another story. What advice would you give to a telecom student for the future?
Telecom student in the future, make sure that you're prepared for anything. They can throw anything at you. Just be ready for it. Be ready to improvise. Make sure that you're able to adjust to whatever position they want you in. You could be a camera operator one day, be on the audio board the next, and then be thrown in front of the screen on the third day. Or do it all in one day. You never know what they'll throw.
You never know, right. All the best to you, my friend. Joshua Stuck, Jr. at Denby High School. Continued success in class of 2020.
Yes, sir.
Very good. All right. We learned a little bit about the behind the scenes from one of our students, and they make it happen here, working with our great core staff as well. We'll continue with more students after this on the May edition of Sports Highlights. We'll roll on after these messages.
Right, take 9, ready 2, take 2. Oh, next up, take 3. Ready 1,
Excuse me.
Quiet on the set.
Choice. Public education in Virginia. What would you decide?
The Telecommunications Center is an award-winning television production facility for high school students in the Newport News Public Schools. Students can learn studio, remote production, audio operation, editing, directing, and much more. Students can also earn college credit through dual enrollment. The center has graduates working for MTV, ESPN, CNN, Entertainment Tonight, and Tyler Perry Studios. If you want to jumpstart your career in broadcasting, contact your guidance counselor or call 591-4687.
And welcome back to our May edition of Sports Highlights, all part of our Kids Are People Too. We did it last year with our telecom students, and of course always enjoying them over the years, behind the scenes, on air, what it takes to get a production done. And we just heard from Joshua Stuck from Denby High School. Let's talk to two Woodside students. Let's talk to Mr. Ryan Mullen and Derek Miracle. Good to see you both.
Hey, how are you doing?
Ryan, you've been one of the few that have been on the show twice now,
Yes, I
so
have.
of course kudos to you. How did you get involved in broadcasting?
Honestly, I never really understood what got involved when it comes to broadcasting. Like, I'll be at a game and I'll see all these people with cameras, like, what are they doing here? I'm like, what the heck? And then I finally learned the behind the scenes of how everything goes down. I was like, I want to do that. Like, that was cool.
I joined the communications magnet at Woodside kind of as the last resort, and the more I did it, the more I realized this is fun. And I heard about 47, like, I think I could learn more by going over there and getting more involved.
It's not easy for both of y'all. Y'all come from the furthest school at Newport News to get here. Talk about the challenges that is.
It's a commute. It's definitely a commute.
Warwick is the biggest struggle. When the construction in Warwick, we would get caught in like 15-minute traffic.
Yeah.
We had to find different ways to get here, and they all failed.
You two have a special bond. Y'all work together a lot. Talk about it.
Oh, yeah. We've been working on projects ever since communications back in 9th grade. Like, almost every video we do is together.
Even before you got here.
Yes, way before.
Other than projects, we have skits and all that just to kind of further our knowledge of what we're doing and to kind of have fun while we broadcast. And so when we work on the crew, because when we produce our own videos, we kind of work better on the crew.
Talk about some of the behind the scenes jobs you've had here the last 2 years at games and sporting events and also other field trips and graduations.
Usually at games, my main focus is doing the graphics. So that's like bringing up score, any like lower thirds, like names we had to bring up. I also like to do other things on the crew, like venture around. I do camera a lot, especially this year. I started doing camera too at the game, try and broaden my knowledge of the different equipment.
The only thing I've done is technical director. Last year I took over from Gabe, and this year I came, nobody really wanted to step up, so I said I'll just stay here. And I do technical director and in the truck with Mr. Barlow. He's an amazing director unless when something goes wrong. Then you really see his fire side, I guess.
Yeah. How is it in the truck in the heat of the moment? I guess that's a good question.
I mean, even though he yells at us, it's always for a good reason. It's like, you need to do what you're doing. You need to get your job right. He's only doing it to help you. He's not like criticizing you for a wrong reason. He's always just trying to help you. And it's always, everything so fast paced. It's fun to do.
I was just referring to, you got a producer in there, you got a director, you got yourself, the TD, you got graphics. You have a lot of different, we got Nate and I talking, you got a lot going on. That's a lot to handle.
It gets loud, especially when things start to really intensify. We have you guys, the announcers, and Mr. Barlow is trying to get a hold of the camera people. And then Mr. Lesko is trying to make sure everything's staying, and we're trying to make sure sound's struggling to balance everything between the crowd mics and then the announcer mics and the game mics and then everything. And so it gets really hectic in the heat of the moment.
Right, there's nothing like football because it's outdoors in the elements.
Yes.
Basketball, wrestling, is volleyball, whatever, is more controlled. It's indoors. There's not as much noise. But football, it's like being wide open in the city of Newport News.
Definitely, yes.
Because you're getting the traffic from Warwick Boulevard making noise too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Talk about every 15 minutes.
Every 15 minutes. That's the annual thing. It's basically like a PSA on drinking and driving or texting and driving, distracted driving, and tries to bring awareness on the bad effects of it.
This year it's at Woodside, and Mr. Daniels and Mr. Price told me about it last year, and I was like, I want to be a part of that because it's like a really intricate system between the entire infrastructure between the courts, the jails, fire department, ambulance, the hospital, and all that. So I was like, I want to take part and put my name on something big.
You talk about some of those PSAs, Ryan. They can be intense, but they definitely portray a good message.
Always, yes. Always trying to bring people good messages and help them out, yeah.
We did some PSAs in class this year, and some of the topics, it's like, it may put a more entertaining spin on it, but the whole point is to try to keep an eye out for what you're message is about. Try to get your message out there in any way possible.
Of course, we've got the NNPS Telecom Network, but YouTube's got all types of videos. I'm sure, like you like music videos that you've probably experimented, and it's powered by Google. You type in anything in the YouTube search box, and stuff pops up. It's amazing, all the stuff at your fingertips there.
YouTube was one of the main reasons I got even into video, because I just loved how creator-driven it was. You didn't have to be a big part of a big program. You could just do it yourself.
YouTube really gets with our YouTube channel, when we live stream the games, it really pushes it out to where we have people across the world kind of watching what we do. Mm-hmm. But it's just, since it's such a big network, I go on YouTube to learn about Photoshop or learn about a homework assignment, and it pops up and I instantly get everything I need.
Yeah, we've had local, regional, national, international viewers watching our sporting events, our shows, live school board meetings, graduations, everything, as we're talking to Ryan Mullen and Derek Miracle. And of course, what have you enjoyed the most about telecom the last 2 years?
Honestly, I love just the communication, the vibes of working together to bring a big production.
I love the classroom, when we're in the class, everyone kind of gets along and works together, and you kind of group. So most classrooms have different people working together, and in our classroom, such a small environment, everybody's kind of together. You need somebody help, you can go into that room and find people who know exactly what they're doing and how to help you the best way they can.
You've been a part of the VSBA as well?
Yeah, the Virginia School Board Association, that was a big event. A lot of people there. It was definitely fun. We filmed the promo for it, and that's going to be a promo for next year. Yeah.
I wasn't part of the VSBA this year, but from what I saw, it was really a monumental, they had so many different stands and tables and I think there was a run.
Yeah, there was a run for it in the morning.
How do you balance academics, and doing this at the same time? Because you're a student first.
Yeah, of course. Academics come first. You always got to get your grades up, because there's no way you're going to advance in your future if you don't get your education up.
I just stay on top of it. Luckily, this class doesn't take up too much time, so when the time that I have to myself, I don't have many other extracurricular activities except for one club, so I just kind of do my homework when I need it, and I do my work in class if I have to.
You're a senior. What are your future plans?
I already committed to Radford University. I love their communication program. I'm ready to get into that. So hopefully I can work for ESPN or work for a sports network.
Ultimately, my end goal is to end up at either one of the military academies, but I have to get myself together before, so I'm going to go to ODU for a year, get myself together, reapply, and hopefully end up at West Point to come out as an officer with a degree in engineering, either nuclear or mechanical.
How did you pick Radford?
I actually toured Longwood, ODU, and Radford. And I liked Longwood and ODU, but Radford, it just felt more at home. Mm-hmm. It felt in their communication program, it was amazing. I really liked it. People were nice there. And I can't wait. It's going to feel just like home.
And you're up by the mountains, so that's beautiful.
Yeah, it is. It's very nice.
So you're going to go to Old Dominion, get a little bit closer to home, and try to reinforce your skills a little bit, right?
Yes, sir.
Very good. Well, when you talk about advice, we're constantly having new students coming in the program here as well, under the direction of Ray Price and Carl Daniels and so forth. What advice would you give them? Because a lot of times they'll come in, they've never even been involved with TV. This gives them that opportunity, like you did a lot on your own before you got here. But how about the young kid that's going to be a junior next year?
Don't be afraid to ask questions. Mr. Daniels is here to help. Every time I've ever had a question, he's helped me with it or directed me to someone who can. So you can't be afraid. It's all about working together in this business.
I would say expand your horizons. Everyone comes in, they automatically gravitate towards the camera because that's what you expect. But there's more than just a camera. There's audio, there's graphics, there's switcher, there's so many other things. So they either go camera or talent, but expand your horizons. Do more than just one thing. You come in, you learn the whole set, and you'll be more valuable in the end game.
I think that's excellent advice. Broaden your horizons. Just don't do one thing. Don't be, focused on just one topic, because your job can change as the years go on too, as well. As far as live or tape, what do you prefer?
I like tape because live it's more stressful. You have to make sure you get it right. And tape, if you make a mistake, you can always go back and fix it.
I like tape as well because you never know, with live, if something happens with the truck live, then that's a really big problem.
Oh, yeah.
If we're tape, then it's less of a blowout. It's less of a fallout. So it's easier.
All right, what's the most memorable event you've worked on here the last 2 years?
The CNU graduation, it was huge. So many people, but I kind of like being put in those stressful situations so I can learn to cope with it better and experience like what a bigger production might actually feel like.
I would have to say graduation season as a whole because it brought the crew more together. Between Achievable Dreams and everything, we were stuck waiting. Like, it's a Newport News graduation, we were stuck waiting for hours on end, so it just kind of brought everybody closer together because all we had to do was just walk around for like 2-3 hours. So it kind of fortified the bonds to make the crew a better, well-oiled machine.
Yeah, because the Newport Youth School graduations, you got 5 high schools in one weekend. Talk about that challenge. Of course, you're going to be part of one yourself physically.
Yes, I am. Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely a challenge because there's all the schools in Newport News. They're huge schools, a lot of students, and it's going to be a while. So you got to get used to being able to film and be in one position for a while if you're being camera, and get ready to take if you're on the switcher.
It's like you're kind of there all day. They provide the food, but you're there all day. We get there 9:30 and we don't leave until 6 or 7. So you just have to find a way to cope with it. You have to find a way to help yourself get through it. Like, it's not awful, but when you're in the middle of production and next thing you know you realize you have to make sure you take every care of everything so you don't end up having to do something, like something doesn't go wrong in the middle of a production.
Right, because the key is balance. I mean, there's a lot of idle time. You know, and you have to focus on keeping yourself busy.
Yeah, it's what we did is once we made sure everything was okay in between the idle time, we either sat in the truck to make sure to try to get comfortable to prepare ourselves, because the graduations can go on for like an hour or 2 hours, and you don't want to in the middle of graduation it's like your feet start hurting, you have to you want to sit down but you can't, so it's best to stay as well rested as you can.
Yeah, take a break too if someone needs to.
What's your favorite music video you've been a part of?
Actually, my favorite music video, probably the ones that I do for the people at my own school, because a lot of people know them, and then they can get my name out there, and I can start doing for more people from even other schools. Like Phoebus people have recognized me and asked me to do stuff for them.
That's great.
So probably the one I've done for Dwayne Canyon lately, that was probably my favorite one.
Very nice. All right, excellent job today by Ryan Mullen, who's been on before, Sports Highlights, as well as Derek Miracle. They're both making miracles here on the NNPSTV.com, the Telecom Network, and Cox Cable Channel 47, 517. As Greg Lesko always mentions, Roku as well. So many different devices to watch on air before you even talk about TV. Live streaming on YouTube. They learn behind the scenes at its best here at the Telecom Network right here at Midland Drive. So I want to thank our great guests today, Joshua Stuck, Ryan Mullen, Derek Miracle, for Ray Price and the great crew. I'm Greg Picaveras. Enjoy your May, and we'll talk to you soon.